Okay, everybody, welcoming back to the channel. Anna Bright, and it's been a while since you have been here. I think it was right around the playoffs of last year. My last had you on. This is year 2 of the whole regular season concept. A little bit different this time, though. It's all just kind of crammed into the summer months. How has that been for you? Has it been good or bad? Too much MLP at once?
It's definitely been a lot. I think as a player, it has not been too much. But I feel like as a spectator, it kind of has been a lot because I'm usually someone who's quite tuned into what's going on, like the events I'm not at. But I would say that this year I do feel like I've had a little bit of viewer fatigue. I also think that the events my team has been at have generally been some of the more competitive events, but like I wasn't too focused on watching like the San Clemente or New York events in particular.
St. Louis crowd 2 weeks ago kind of, in my opinion, set a new bar in terms of like the venue, the crowd. And then this week at Dallas, they might have met or raised that bar. I don't know. It's like hard to compare because there's two different venues and kind of two different vibes. Like, where do you see the future of MLP? Is it going to be like in big arenas like that, or is it going to be in like dedicated facilities like we just saw at Dallas?
I think both, honestly. I think arenas are probably, you can't really beat an arena with a lot of people in it. I think playing at Chaffetz was really amazing, really cool to be in that environment and everything. I feel like Chaffetz was probably louder than the venue in Dallas. That was just my experience, at least just because it's an arena. It's like kind of meant to hold sound. I felt like Dallas, it just wasn't quite as loud. It was still super loud. They also have like, that facility is a great facility. They have like these like noise cancellation things everywhere. So maybe if they didn't have that, like if you look up, they're just everywhere. So if they didn't have that, maybe Dallas would have been louder. I don't know ticket sales numbers, but I felt like Dallas had so many people, like probably more than St. Louis had, but I think St. Louis probably was a louder place to play in. It was tough to play on grandstand at either facility because
it was tough.
Center and grandstand are right by each other. I didn't play on grandstand in St. Louis, but in Dallas, like I'm playing the hard eights. It's our 5th match. Like we're really supposed to win. The Mad Drops versus Fives is going on beside us, and like there's it's tough to see if you weren't there, but there's like a projector showing the match on center court that you can easily see on grandstand. So I'm like watching Hayden and Gabe play Blaine and Ryan, and they're up like 6-3. Like they're not killing them by any means, and I'm trying to like be like, yeah guys, woo, while I'm like looking up trying to watch like Ben versus Anna Lee play mixed. So playing on grandstand wasn't easy, but it's kind of like it just kind of is what it is with where we are at in pickleball. Like, I don't think it's going to change. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of funny playing in those loud, really hype arenas. Like it's amazing if you're on center court. If you're on grandstand, it's a little like what's going on? Where am I? Like you're in the middle of the point. The music turns on and it's blasting. Like things like that.
They had to shut down, I think, one of the matches during the whole drumline thing, or they were doing some kind of presentation. Like it was like you're right there. Like you kind of, if you're in that room too, and the Mad Drops and Fives is going on, you kind of have to be a sicko to go to the other court to watch that. But like there were some people still watching.
There were a good number of people watching our match, and I said to Kate on the bench, I was like, well, why is anyone watching us right now? Like if you're not family with one of these people, like I was like, you should be watching the other match.
That's funny. I mean, I thought the venue was awesome. I was up in the little commentator booth. I did one of y'all's matches. I did St. Louis, Carolina. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, the crowd, it was awesome, and I had so much fun there. It's just always fun to go to MLP. Kind of shifting gears, I'm just curious, like your general take on the whole trade deadline drama. Like, what was you and your teammates' reactions when you saw these trades rolling in? Do you guys kind of like know there are rumors going around, or is it just like you find out when we see it on Instagram?
I generally find out when I see it. When I see it, I'll see like Eric Tice has tweeted, there's rumors, and then I was like wondering, and my team was worried that that Ben Johnson's been traded to the Fives. I was like, no.
That would be wild.
That would be like, no.
Everything we love about MLP is the fact that they don't play together. So that would have been.
So when I saw that, that's actually where like our heads were kind of at, and then I saw like something from the Mad Drops, and so I think I realized it's probably like something related to the Mad Drops, but. Yeah, I mean, I think the deadline being moved back, it's a little like you kind of like shake your head at it. Like MLP really does need to start, and the PPA too, moving towards like not changing things all the time, not changing things so last minute. Probably not a bad idea to, not promote everyone to Premier next year really does suck. I feel so bad for Eva Radzikowska. There's a good chance she's stuck in Challenger again. But still, just changing everything is, it just, there's not a lot of stability. And then, the trades in and of themselves is crazy. Obviously, the Ben Johns to the Mad Drops trade was kind of the most eyebrow raising. It's tough because I guess the way as a player, I don't really think of the keeper cost too much, but I felt like they only got $200K for Ben Johns. Like that's not like that. That feels wrong.
I think they stacked it with Edda to somehow get more money back too, like 200 per player. So basically LA overpaid for Edda to kind of also get more money for Ben. That was my understanding of it, at least. But
probably something like that. I don't really know, but yeah. So I don't blame Carolina for selling off their players. It's they're not going to be a playoff team. They're not doing well. Why not? But I just didn't love that, and I don't know. I feel like a way to prevent it in the future would be to create rules where you can do whatever trades, but your team can't exceed the original $1 million draft point cost, or can't exceed it by, you can't be more than 1.2 million, something like that. I don't know, because that's a team that could not have been originally formed.
Yeah, the NBA has, you can only take, $4 million per year in cash considerations, but the NBA also does actually have future draft capital that you could trade, whereas in MLP, that cash kind of is your ability to build a team next year. So I kind of see, in my mind, yeah, it looks on paper you're just getting a bunch of cash, and who knows, maybe that is what some of these teams are doing. But if it's a team that's going to reinvest it, I don't really have an issue with these big cash trades, as long as it's with the right ownership group.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really either. It's hard to speculate, but a team like Miami, they sold off Millie, they sold off Noe, they also sold off Eric earlier in the year. But it's still an ownership group that you feel is pretty invested. You don't feel like it's a true tank. It's they know that they might get 10th place this year, best case 9th. They
can still do it this year, yeah.
They totally can. Or maybe they're going to bank some of that money, and maybe they like what they saw from Utah. They're Jay's coming back. Maybe they're Maya Bowie could get better. I think Maya Bowie is very talented, honestly. I don't know that I've seen some people saying she hasn't improved, but I think people expect too much improvement too fast sometimes. And I think she's very talented. So it's maybe they're wanting to make a big play on the female side, because there will probably be some very good players, the teams will have to drop come the end of the year. So I liked all the drama generally. The Ben thing, definitely a little eyebrow raising, but I didn't think that the Mad Drops were going to be the favorites immediately. I thought they were definitely firmly in the mix with the addition of Ben Johns without losing one of their other 3 starters, but didn't feel like what some people were saying, that Mad Drops to the ship immediately.
Yeah, I kept them at 4 in my power rankings, just because I just got to see it first. Ben's team should be good, his last team should have been good, and they weren't. So I just like to see it, and I think 4 is a pretty good spot for them still, in terms of power rankings. So going back to your team though, last year when we were talking, Gabe and Kate in the regular season, I believe, were something 5 and 18, and it felt like the one kind of lineup that was maybe going to be an issue in the playoffs, or maybe hold y'all back. And this year you get the 1 seed, and a lot of that is just because they're now 18 and 5. They've completely flipped it around. What do you think they have done, either strategically? There's probably maybe a little bit of record inflation with the expanded teams, but also how improved are they? Is there anything that they're doing that has been a key to their success, or what's your takeaway, Ben, from that?
Yeah, I always felt like last year we were so lucky to have done as well as we did, considering how bad Gabe and Kate were. I think 5 and 18 is generous. I'm thinking about the regular season. I think that they might have only won 3 matches in the regular season. They beat Dylan and Lacey when we were already up 3-0. They beat Mari and Zane when we really needed it. And then they might have snuck 1 or 2 more in, but those are the only 2 that I really
I might be conflating mid-season tournament wins, but
yeah, mid-season they did. They got a win in the mid-season.
Yeah.
I think it's largely that they have both improved as individual mixed players, and I think that last year they kind of got so beat down that they just didn't even think they could win to an extent. And I think Gabe got a lot more faith in Kate, and I think also Kate got a lot more confidence in herself. And I think Gabe's mix, huge improvements, not just obviously he's grown, he's gotten better decision making, but I feel like he used to give up on points a lot. Like if you watch back, other teams would have high balls and he would just kind of like turn. But now Gabe is actually very scrappy. In men's as well, but mixed, I feel like, not just at MLP, but I used to see him kind of give up on points more, and he doesn't really do that at all. So it's something that I'm, really proud of him for. And I always felt like we were really lucky last year. I felt like I won a lot of coin tosses, and we were able to stack mixed, and we were a good gender team. But I always felt like we were very lucky to be as good as we were last year. And this year, I don't really feel like that. I feel like Gabe and Kate can beat any team and are better than most number 2 teams.
I mean, the flexibility it gives you, especially being the 1 seed where you get to, have the home court advantage and set those lineups, like it's massive. Just having the flexibility to choose, you want to go, like you can almost do, instead of just like mix 1 versus 2, like your mix 2 can hang with most mix 1s, and it makes it easier for you to try to go and close out later. So speaking of y'all having the top seed, we still have to see how Utah goes, but like conversations y'all are having, who are you going to pick for the first round? You kind of got to see maybe how Utah or Orlando look after their trades. Maybe Texas feels like they're not quite on the same level as they were at the start of the year, maybe fading a little bit. So like how much of it is based on like your previous matchups versus what you're going to see in this, and like what conversations have you all been having, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it much. I think we haven't actually talked too much since leaving Dallas. I think, we were together for almost 3 straight weeks. Kind of people want a little bit of time to decompress, but it'll definitely depend on how some teams are looking in Utah. A couple teams definitely having some chemistry issues right now. Those are kind of things to watch, and, to see kind of how things play out on those fronts. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the league is like really, really deep through, like, maybe there's a clear-ish like top. I don't even know. I don't want to like disrespect Brooklyn or Columbus, like, but they're, maybe they seem to be like a smidge below like the top 4 teams, but they're literally right there. They're literally right there. So you've got the top 6, then you have like 7 and 8 is like the Ranchers, and I'm probably
Orlando and probably Utah.
Yeah, Orlando, yeah. Utah, and then you've got Chicago, and I thought Chicago played very well in wherever we just were. They took us to a Dream Breaker. They also took the Flash to a Dream Breaker. The Vivian and Callie won women's against Paris and Leia. James actually went 2-0 versus the Flash, which is not something that has been happening this season. But that's kind of scary if he can start to like play at a higher level. So I think Chicago's also really good. I think we have like 9 very good teams where kind of on any given day, any match could go to a Dream Breaker and any team could win. And then I think after that there is a bit of a fall off. We'll see how Miami plays if Jay's healthy. How I don't recall who their new woman is. Maybe it's Tammy. But I think the depth in the league is not as bad as people make it sound. I think there's a big drop off beyond that, like 10 to 6. There's 10 to 12, and there's like 13 to 16. Not great, but there's the playoffs is going to be great, even from the first play-in rounds. So we haven't talked about it too much. It'll depend on how teams look. It's tough, a team like Chicago, like they might be a little bit lower floor than a team like Orlando, but it's like, are they higher ceiling? And what's more scary?
They feel like an underperformer, so like if they just reach that gear we haven't really seen yet.
And like what's more scary? Like, are we more scared of the ceiling, or do we want, to play against like the very possible like low floor we can win this 4-0. So those are kind of the things to think about. But yeah, we haven't really thought about it yet. There's a lot of things still in motion, I feel like.
Well, then if you haven't thought about that, you definitely haven't thought about my next question, which would be getting way ahead of itself. Is theoretically you get to the semifinals, you still get to choose, and all of a sudden you're choosing between, in all likelihood, or maybe just probably, you have to choose between Annalie Waters in the semifinals with the 5s or Ben Johns with the Mad Drops. Like that's the part of the trades is like, if we get to that stage, like that's I feel like an impossible choice.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on. I think Dream Breaker win probability will start to be something that we're thinking about a lot, and then also. Kate and I are like one of the better women's teams, but I feel like this year there's almost been more parity in women's doubles than men's doubles.
The top 7 feels pretty even in women's doubles versus in men's doubles, like Gabe and Hayden are far and away the best team. Whereas
last year, like there was much more parity in men's doubles. So I feel like our decisions will be largely influenced by, where we feel more confident we can win men's doubles. Just to be candid there, because that's just the match that, like, I've actually, if you watch back the shock matches this season, my team has served first almost always, and generally the team that wins the toss chooses to receive, but I've been choosing side because I want the boys to finish on the good side, and me and Kate will look into the bad side to finish our match, because I just feel like men's is kind of more of a priority. So even when I win the toss, I've been choosing side, and how everyone thinks about things is different, but I feel like to an extent the boys have, like, they're playing great, and they're firing on all cylinders, and Kate and I are still playing very well, but it feels like there's a lot of parity among like the top, like you said, like the top 7 women's teams or so. It's kind of like any given day, anything could happen.
So kind of moving on, maybe a little bit beyond like playoffs, but we kind of have to talk about real quick the hot topic of the week, which the kitchen made some comments about screaming, sportsmanship, etc. Seemed like literally everybody with a Twitter account got in there in the replies. Do you want to kind of address that, and just like, do you think you guys have crossed the line ever, or do you feel like it's more positive and trying to hype each other up? Like, where do you stand on this?
I mean, I think it's all pretty dumb, honestly.
I agree.
Like, I think it's all pretty dumb. Like, my anger about that tweet was not with the opinion that was expressed. I have no problem with anyone sharing an opinion. It was like the way it was expressed, like from a professional account, and it was like, it was not posed in like it was posed in a way to like incite people to hate on Kate, like it's, and shocker, she loses again. Like that kind of language I felt was very inappropriate and a misuse of the platform. And that's what I took issue with. I did not take issue with the opinion in and of itself. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I have no problem personally with being polarizing and people disliking me. So that's kind of my issue. Like, I don't really care to chime in too much on like the screaming or not. To me, that's kind of like a different thing. But it's like, I guess my stance is like, I don't like purposefully do more generally. Like, this is just how I have always been. Like, I got taunting warnings when I was 10 years old playing junior tennis, because I would scream in people's faces when I was just like a kid. It's just kind of how I am. And I got taunting warnings for it. So then I stopped. I adjusted. I would look at the back fence. I would look at my parents, but then in college, like, it was like encouraged again. So then, I did it because that's the natural thing. So it's like the powers that be in pickleball have to decide what they want, and, maybe some fans think it's too much. I think a lot of fans are just fine with it, but they have to decide what they want, and then we'll adjust. Like, it's not, but I don't think it's like a huge deal. I also don't think I think people saying that it's like inauthentic, it's like, no, it is pretty authentic. Most people are behaving authentically out there. Like, we're playing high competition. I find people saying like, like the kitchen's post, other posts, it's like, you're down 9-1, you're down 8-1, you're screaming. Like, I think that is such a dumb, like, no dog in you point to make, because we don't play football. We don't play basketball. We don't play a game where like your mathematical chance to win is basically 0 when the clock is at a minute or 2 minutes, whatever. Like, we play a sport where there is no clock. You can always win.
You are the clock. Like, it's over when you allow it to be over. Yeah.
Like, you can always win. Like, we're down like 9-4 against the fives, and Megan like shanks an overhead and misses it 8 feet out. Like, you don't want me to get fired up at that. You don't think that's a potential turning point? Like, it wasn't. We lost the match. But it's like, I think that argument is just so stupid. Generally, I also think just the language, like every point, like, no, it's not every point. It's also like, you don't know what's going on the sidelines. Like, there's a lot of animosity between us and the fives. Like, in game, like, we're all fine off court, you know, but like in game, and it's like Kate got a ricochet into the eye and Harwood's screaming. Like, I like lose my fingernail, you know,
I saw
like
that post. Yeah, I saw
yeah,
that.
like Megan got me good, and so I'm like mad. Like, we're mad, you know, like we're competing and we're mad. So, but to me, it's the whole debate is kind of dumb. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know. If you think someone's too much, that's fine. Just express your opinion like respectfully, and it's up to the powers that be to kind of make their decisions, and people expressing their opinions is fine. That's how they'll reach a conclusion. But if they don't, then people are going to keep competing in a way that's like natural to them.
Yeah, so I was calling the Dallas Flash versus New York Hustlers game or match, and the crowd was there, but Dallas women are up 9-0. It's just not a whole lot going on. Then all of a sudden, New York wins a few rallies, and the New York bench starts chirping at Julie Johnson. They're saying, "Call a timeout."
We might be. Oh, and the New York bench is urging Julie Johnson to take that timeout.
Then Georgia Johnson hits a winner, and all of a sudden gets in his face a little bit, and the crowd woke up, and calling the game, I woke up.
Side out.
And Georgia Johnson goes straight at the New York bench.
The New York bench was telling Julie Johnson to take a timeout, and Georgia Johnson just said, "Go to timeout."
So I think this energy, you have to have it. It makes the product better. It took kind of sleeping arena, and all of a sudden, for 10 minutes, there was a charged atmosphere. So I'm all for it. I think
for sure. And I watched a clip of that match that was posted. It's Helena Jansen misses a dink, and then Georgia's screaming, which is totally fine in my view. And the crowd's fired up about it. But all this stuff, you can't ever do that. It's low class. It's just kind of honestly, f off.
If you win a point, if you win a rally, I think you're allowed to cheer. I don't care if they.
Yeah, if I hit someone in the face, if I hit someone in the face, I'm gonna behave differently. But I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. But kind of the holier than thou mindset, I think is a little tiring to me. And then I also just think it's just an amped up atmosphere. MLP honestly is. I don't think unless you've played it, with a team and with other people on your team that kind of have that same fire and that energy and that kind of belief that you can win the whole thing and feeling like you're playing for so much, you might not get it. But yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I also don't like that it feels sometimes like Kate is the only one that people go after, or that people go after her more than anyone. I don't think it's necessarily because she's a woman or anything. There's a lot of us who are absolute screamers out there, but that also bothers me. And she's just one of my best friends, and I know she's very sensitive, so it made me mad.
Well, I'm sure she appreciates you going to bat for her in the comment section there. Kind of in a similar vein of thought or train of thought here, we're getting into the playoffs too, and it's gonna be largely at neutral sites. Y'all had a great crowd in St. Louis. How do you feel your team is perceived by the neutral fans? Do you feel like you get people cheering for you, people cheering against you? And how do you think the other top teams kind of are perceived by fans? Do you think that could be a factor as we get down the stretch in the playoffs? How much can these, the fans and the atmosphere make a difference?
Yeah, I think it was Nico who tweeted the shock or the perfect MLP team. You either love them or you love to hate them. And I think that's a great way to look at it. Just even as an individual too. It's better to be polarizing because some people love you, and that's kind of how you build a brand. I think the Dallas Flash are definitely kind of the sweethearts.
It's very straight-laced. If you have a problem with them, you have a problem with yourself probably.
I think they're kind of they're kind of the sweethearts. They're very cute. Yeah. So I think a lot of people like the Flash a lot. It's kind of if you don't like them, it's So yeah, I think the Flash are kind of the sweethearts and everything, and then I think us and the Fives probably have the next biggest brands, or I should say next, but not I think the Flash is the biggest, but it's just kind of the most identifiable, most recognizable, and I think we're both kind of similar. We're both a little bit swaggy, if you're not with us, you're against us, that type of energy. I feel we're generally more well liked than the Fives.
It's the counting. It's really the counting.
I think it's the counting. I honestly just think that people find it aggravating. The Dallas crowd refusing to count was pretty cool. And then against us, they never even tried. I thought it was funny that they never even tried. And, a lot of the crowd, as the match went on, came to be more for us as that match developed.
And I was shocked that LA, it seemed like a very pro LA crowd.
It was a very proud LA crowd.
Or Hunter's local.
I don't know why, but I felt that too. I felt the crowd was very pro LA against the Fives for sure, but just even in our match, I wasn't hearing the crowd too much, but it did feel like the crowd liked LA a lot, which was good for them. So yeah, I don't know. I think some of the other teams
Well, Phoenix and the whistle. I mean, that's
oh my God, the whistle. I got asked recently in like a shock and awe interview what was more annoying, like the whistle or the fives chant, and I was like, both like equally annoying in different ways. But I was like, the fives chant is like good for the league and everything. You love it or you hate it. But I was like, that damn whistle, like he's whistle. Blowing it right.
My dad was going on a rant about the whistle.
You know, I'm like on the bench right beside. He's just blasting. I'm playing on center court. The Flames are playing on grandstand. Like you're about to hit the ball, and just like it's. I think the whistle absolutely needs to go.
Gotta go.
The whistle's not okay. It's like, could you have like a Vuvuzela like on the bench? Like no. So the whistle, I'm not really okay with. Five chant is still annoying, but different. So. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the other teams, like I think people really like Brooklyn, but it's like they don't have like this big contingent behind them per se. Like perhaps like Jake Gelvar would say would obviously say differently, but like I think like Brooklyn, Columbus, those teams could develop more of a following, like one way or the other. I think largely Columbus, like this is kind of their first year being really invested, and I think with Brooklyn, it's just like a new market. I also think it's important to have like a mascot, honestly. Like I think people would
Brooklyn,
get more
like they're so confusing when they just traded their team with DC. Like
I think it's just confusing, but I'm sure they'll develop. I also think being like the Brooklyn something is a lot better than being like the Brooklyn pickleball team. So I feel like
right there with you.
They need to entirely. Same with Miami, like you need to choose something and lean into it, and then it's just people would rather like make jokes about something, like just have something more identifiable to your team.
I think DC should be the DC Dinkin Dinos, and they could like tie in with the Smithsonian or the Natural History Museum. I think that's my rebrand for DC.
It's kind of long, but
yeah, just the Dinos.
Yeah, I think and obviously the Squeeze has great branding, but so yeah, I don't know. I think definitely us and the fives are similar, like kind of polarizing. You love us or you hate us, but you have an opinion, and then the Flash is like. Generally people like them. The only reason you could maybe dislike them is because they're so well liked, honestly.
I don't know if you are aware of this, but they are my sworn enemy and rival, and it's been I picked the wrong team to beef with.
Yeah, you definitely did. That's kind of tough. You could pick. Is there another? No. The Frisco team moved to Nashville.
Yeah, they're up in Nashville.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with the Flash.
And there was the ATX Pickleballers too.
Yeah. But the Ranchers almost had it. Like I thought both
times.
I thought Tina got a little tight there in mixed, but they played a great match, and the Johnsons are so good at clawing their way back into matches when it looks like they're down and out.
That's how I feel about Texas. Though, is like you can only almost beat the really good teams so many times before you like actually have to do it to be a contender. Like they beat Columbus, but semifinals at the backdraw of the midseason tournament. So like that's where I'm like, I'm wondering if they wouldn't be one of the teams people are going to be picking. So
for sure.
Just to wrap things up, so quick little game, know your teammates, powered by Real Clear Stats. So I'm just going to ask you a few quick trivia questions. We'll see how well you know your teammates' on-court tendencies. So as a percentage of third shots this year at MLP, which one of your teammates, and you're included in this, hits the most drives on their third shots?
Probably Kate.
Yeah, you're right. Kate, 61% of her thirds are drives. She does see the fewest third shot attempts of all your teammates, but everybody else is closer into the 30 to 20% of drives. So Kate is very drive happy. Which of your teammates attempts the most off the bounce speed ups per 40 rallies? So it's normalized across how long your games are per 40 rallies, off the bounce speed up attempts.
I think that would I would say maybe me and gender, but if you include mixed.
Yeah, this is mixed and gender.
Then if you include mixed, then I don't. Because Hayden is like not pulling much at all off the bounce in men's, but then in mixed. Let's just say Gabe.
It is you.
Really?
Four off the bounce speed up attempts per 40 rallies. That is the third most among women, and you have a net win percentage of plus 12%, which is also very good.
What are Hayden and Gabe at out of 40
Hayden
hits?
and Gabe, so Gabe Tardio does 3 per 40 rallies. Hayden is 2.5, and Kate is 1.4.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Then the last one after you, which of your teammates this year, as a percentage, misses the most serves?
Hayden.
It is Hayden. 1.7% of his serves miss.
That's funny. I'll never miss a serve.
Yeah.
I'll never miss a serve. Have I missed a serve?
99.8% accuracy according to the Real Clear Stats data.
I bet I haven't missed a serve. I've probably
data.
I've probably missed one serve like all year PPA and MLP. I push the serve hard. I'm a big serve pusher, unfortunately.
Well, good luck in the playoffs. And once again, just thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Matty.